Hello, welcome to the Comic Book Club. I am your host, Jamil Payne, and with me is the beautiful, the lovely, our very own dancing queen, Amanda Coney. How are you doing, Amanda?
I'm great. You threw that reference out there and I was like, do I remember the lyrics to that song? Can I be clever and keep this reference going? But obviously my mind is only on the Wicked and Divine right now.
The Wicked and Divine, that is what we are talking about today. But first, as always, we would like to talk about some news. So, Amanda, the Joker got 11 nominations for the Oscars a few days ago. How does that make you feel?
Surprised a little bit. I thought it was a really well-made movie that nobody asked for. It felt, honestly, it felt a little bit awards show baity.
Of course.
But 11 sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. See, so I like to go to my favorite place for vitriol, which is Twitter, because I like flogging myself. Clearly, right? And it's just like the people, it's funny, like the people who like it, I have no problem with. But the people who hates it really fucking hates it. Like it's really weird. Like I know people who loves that movie, but they don't necessarily have like a fervor for it. Even the people that love it, but the people who hate it, they really fucking hate that movie. The amount of articles I've heard calling that movie dumb or stupid is insane. And I don't know how to take this. I don't know why this movie is like some weird Rorschach test.
I feel like a lot of movies recently are sort of litmus tests for your personality. They're almost as polarizing as politics right now.
Yeah, man, and it's weird, man. It's the same thing with Star Wars, which we would not get into.
Right.
Which we would not get into.
But I just kind of imagine that friends of mine say that on Tinder people will put Trump supporters swipe left, or it's left, right, if you hate somebody.
Amanda,
you wouldn't know either. Yeah.
Yes.
So they say, Trump supporters keep going. This movie is like that. If you like the Joker, keep walking. Don't tag me or whatever people do on Tinder. Flame you if it's a fire thing. I have no idea.
So okay.
Oh, I get it. I get it because it's for hot people, right?
Yes.
I get it.
But yeah, so this movie, we talked about. I said I think it might be a masterpiece, but I have no interest in ever seeing it again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about it, right? And we were like, okay, the movie is good to okay to good, right? But the hate I've seen where it's just stupid and or they say it's just stupid and dumb. I'm like, have you seen a Michael Bay movie? I'm all about The Bar, right? You know what I'm saying? So if it's something I don't personally like, I try to take into account how other people see it, if that make any sense. Okay, I dislike this movie, but if I call it bad or dumb, is it really? Then I start going to my Rolodex of actual bad and dumb movies I've seen. And it's not as bad as that. That's how I feel about the Joker. Even if you don't like it, it's not as bad as Transformers 2. Because that is bad and dumb. But yeah, 11 nominations. Do you think it would win anything?
I didn't think it would get nominated for all that stuff, and it did anyways. So I think that me saying I don't think it'll win, I'm obviously out of my element here. I don't really know how this works anymore.
I think Joaquin Phoenix got a good chance of winning.
And honestly, he deserves it. He's an amazing actor. He did a really amazing job in this movie.
And it's about time he gets one.
Yeah. So yes, it deserved at least one nomination and one win. What were the other categories? Maybe if I pull up the list, maybe I'll
I know it got nominated for Best Picture.
Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Original Music Score, Best Director, Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Sound Mixing, Costume. I think that's maybe another sound one. Best Makeup and Hair.
I think someone's photography is a good one. It was. I mean, a beautiful movie ain't what it is, but like, is a very striking looking movie.
Yeah.
So I could see that nomination. Best Picture. I feel like that goes with the Best Actor thing. Like I don't know if it would win, but I think right now Joaquin Phoenix and Leonardo DiCaprio are like the front runners as far as Best Picture. I think it should be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or 1917, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But man, if Joker wins Best Picture, oh my God, the DC released the Snyder Cut dark and edgy fanboys are, are going to be insufferable for at least 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of like a Groundhog's Day thing, right? Like if the groundhog sees his shadow, you get 6 more weeks of winter, and if he doesn't, you get 6 weeks until spring.
Yes.
Like they're going to be annoying for 5 years anyways. It's just whether you're optimistic or pessimistic about it.
Okay. uh, what else did we want to talk about, Matt?
You I mean, in addition to going on Twitter to find out about Joker, you also have just in general been seeing still comments from old white directors complaining about comic book movies.
See, I'm not gonna call him old white dude because you know why? I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, look, Martin Scorsese made one comment. Someone asked him
Yeah.
his honest opinion. He gave his honest opinion. Then it became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then people decided they were gonna ask him in every interview.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was giving out his unsolicited opinion. Someone asked him.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Martin Scorsese, I don't agree with him on this. I don't, right?
Correct.
But he made Goodfellas, so he can say whatever the fuck he wants. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. If anybody might be right, it's going to be our greatest living director. Like this, and like I get sick. Like all of a sudden, nerds have opinions on his movies that like I know for a fact they never did before. Like didn't nobody have an opinion on Silence when that came out 2 years ago? then everybody got an opinion on The Irishman. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't remember nobody. And it's always the same. Oh, it's too long. Like, well, all his goddamn movies long. What the fuck have you been? Have you ever seen a Martin Scorsese movie? Don't know Martin Scorsese movie clocked under 245. So it's now they asking other old white directors who do say stuff racist, like Gilliam. I'm about to say Guillermo del Toro, but Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
That one is heartbreaking a little bit because I really do love Terry Gilliam movies, and it's like. Yeah, he's just old and out of touch and maybe slightly racist. I don't know. Like, but again, it's all a setup, and it's messed up that these people don't see that it is a setup.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if someone asks you that question, you should know by now. Don't even answer it. Next question. What do you think, Amanda?
Of comic book movies?
No.
I'm sorry. I've been advised that I shouldn't answer that question.
No. Well, guess what? We're on this show, so I'm gonna need you to answer it. For good or ill. For good or ill, it doesn't matter because I got my own thoughts, but for good or ill.
I think that there are a lot of different reasons why people watch movies.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, I am watching a movie for some form of escapism or entertainment.
Okay.
And I think that comic book movies are really, really good at satisfying that. But that a lot of the time, they aren't well-made movies in other ways.
Right.
So it's sort of like if you take a test that has like a math grade and a reading grade, and they're like two separate things, and you could be like, the best would be for it to be really good, you'd be really good at math and really good at reading, and then you can go to like Harvard or something. But like, what I'm saying is, like, comic book movies are like really good at math and they could go to any state school they want for free.
Wow.
But like, not all of the comic book movies get to go to Harvard. This is a really great metaphor. It's
So,
early. It's
like,
all I had.
so the Dark Knight would definitely go to Harvard, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Ant-Man
there's
is definitely going to State College.
yeah, and there is nothing wrong with that. And sometimes that's really what you want, because sometimes the kids who went to Harvard won't shut up.
I think what he was trying to say is, like, you know, these type of movies have taken over, and not just superhero movies, but movies of its ilk in general. Like, you look at a Fast and the Furious movie, that's a fucking superhero movie. You can't tell me that
Right.
it's not, right? You know what I'm saying? But I will say this: I do a comic book podcast. I've known to defend comic book movies against some of our more snobbish friends, as have you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I'm a movie person, and I'm gonna tell you something. As much as I love comic book movies, that shit samey as hell. So I could completely understand why he would say that. Do I agree? No. But even at this point, I'm a 35-year-old dad, so I don't get out to go to the movies as much as I used to. So when I do go, it's usually like something I gotta take everybody, the whole family, to, like a big budget, you know, comic book movie or action movie or something like that. And yeah, they're great, but it does get samey. Like if you just watch those.
Yeah.
Oh, but what I don't like, and again, it's not just him, right? It just kicked back up. I remember Spielberg said something about it, and James Cameron have said something about this. And what I find is, with nerds, God bless them, because I'm one of them, you are too, is like they like to circle the wagons when someone says something about their precious comic book movies.
Yeah.
So, like, I hear inane shit, and my favorite that I hear all the time is, oh, they're just jealous. Jealous of what? What does James Cameron have to be jealous of? Two of his movies are the second and third highest grossing movie of all time. He has made nothing but hits. He's only made 9 movies. All of them are hits. Steven Spielberg is considered the greatest American director ever. These people are not jealous of your comic book movies. Martin Scorsese, at 78 years old, is still putting out masterpieces, right? Like The Irishman is good. He just made Wolf of Wall Street 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this man at like 80 is still on top of his game. None of these people are jealous of your comic book movies. They have. I know for a fact James Cameron and Steven Spielberg probably have like $1 billion apiece, right? You know what I'm saying? They are not jealous of your movies. Stop that. All I'm saying is, don't insult them because they have a different opinion from you. That's all I'm saying. They wouldn't insult you. Like, they ain't say comic book fans are stupid and ignorant like fucking Bill Maher. They just said, you know, it ain't their thing, and they think it may be like not movies. But they don't insult you personally.
Yeah.
So give these masters their room to breathe. Give these old dudes their room to breathe. Because I'm telling you, I keep saying this, Amanda. Everybody that say old people are out of touch don't realize that one day they will be old and they could be still out of touch. When they only making like fart movies, and fart movies start winning Oscars, we're gonna be saying that's not cinema, and there's gonna be some fucking shitty fucking 27-year-old on fucking space Twitter saying we out of touch.
Sorry, I just love the idea of space Twitter.
God damn it. So that's why I stand. Yes, I don't agree, but I respect their opinion. I could have just said that. I didn't have to go on that whole rant, but I had to get that off my chest. Man, then you want to talk about Watchmen or something like
Oh,
irony?
I was just finding it a little bit maybe not ironic, but there's a nice symmetry between fans of the original comic book who were concerned about strip mining the IP to make a TV show, and fans of the television show who are saying they're fine with only one season because they don't want their IP strip mined to make a second season that dilutes the original material.
Right.
So
Right.
I just found it interesting that that it's a good argument to make, and that some fans of the TV show seem to be making that argument without the context that this same argument has already been made about Watchmen with respect to the comic book. But I think it really speaks to the strength of the original idea that so many people are defensive of it and that they want it to stay good and strong, and they don't want it to be Star Wars. They want
I'm
it
one
to
of
be
the,
something they can always be proud of and go back to enjoy.
I think it has a perfect ending. I don't think it needs any more. So I'm happy that it's not getting a second season because there's really nowhere to go but down from here.
Yeah.
So like I just wouldn't want it, man. Like, what I'm saying? I was like kind of concerned about the show. I mean, I was always going to watch it. Like, there was no way I wasn't going to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I just, I don't know. I don't need a second season. And I'm glad that Lindelof is like, is just like, I'm good. Cause Lindelof in his endings, he don't stick the landing sometimes. So he kind of stuck the landing. I think he just want to ride into the sunset. It seemed like
Yeah.
he's just trying to wipe off the specter of Lost. That's all. That's all. But yes, great season, Amanda. You need to watch it.
Yeah, now that it's all out, I should be able to like binge it, right?
Yeah. Oh. Look, I'm telling the audience now. We're gonna have a Watchmen month. We about to be in what was this year 2? We're about to be
Yeah.
in year 3. We might have to close this all out with a whole Watchmen month. I know you're excited about that, Amanda. Right? I know being a woman and told every day that you should read Watchmen by a bunch of dudes is really what you want to do is read Watchmen.
I'm gonna tell you, I tried to read it once and I just fell asleep.
Why? You know what? No,
And I still have it sitting around, and I was gonna read it and then we started this podcast and I was like, Jamal's gonna make me read it, so I'm just gonna save it.
You know what? I'm clapping. That's some expert trolling right there. You want to make people mad. Say that's. You're right. I am going to make you read it. I'm going to make you read it. So be prepared for that. So with that, we are reading The Wicked and Divine. The Wicked and Divine is a image comic written by Kieron Gillen, drawn by Jamie Mckelvie, with colors. Oh, I put colors in here on purpose. With color by Matthew Wilson.
The lettering, I believe, is Clayton Cowles.
Yes, it is.
I just I want to point that out too, because these creators were very insistent that all 4 of their names got on the cover.
Right. Well, there you go. See, I didn't know that. That's why I meant this here. This comic ran from June 2014 to September 2019. We are reading the first 11 issues. Every 90 years, 12 guards incarnate as human. They are loved, they are hated. In 2 years, they are dead. Kieron Gillen and James Mckelvie reunite for this new ongoing superhero fantasy with a beautiful, oversized issue. Welcome to the Wicked and the Divine, where guards are the ultimate pop stars. But remember, just because you're immortal doesn't mean you're going to live forever. Okay, so Amanda, the Wicked and the Divine. What are your thoughts?
So this is probably the best book that I got to review while I was writing for The Outhouse. Normally I was reading some sort of 5-issue noir dark horse creator owned side project.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely was there a brand new, really anticipated Image book that we got to fight over reviewing.
Right.
So my impression of the book, and this is essentially the review that I wrote back then, was this is a really, really good book. It's really, really, really well made. I am not the target audience for this book somehow.
Whoa. Okay.
I just literally don't care. Like, I had absolutely no desire to see what happened next. I wasn't curious. I just didn't care somehow. And I think it's a case of being too similar to other things that I like. But I think we can talk about that a little more. What was your impression of it? I guess maybe what made you choose it for us to read?
Honestly, I was just looking for stuff to read that wasn't like superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is one of those books I've already heard. You know what? I seen the cover.
Yeah.
The cover was very striking.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Amanda. I really, really like this book. Like I like it a lot. And like honestly, it's only like it's not that many issues. I almost caught like when I got done reading the first 11 issues, I really almost got done and like I was gonna hit you up and be like, hey, maybe we should read this whole series. Because I think this is like it's like the Native American of comic books, as in they use the whole buffalo. Like all the things that you need to make a great comic, they threw into great. They threw in together, from great design to art to writing to coloring to lettering. Like they use all the tricks in the bag to make this a great book. Now there are things you think I wouldn't like, knowing me, about the some of the subject matter, but like it all works for me. I love it all, and like I bought the second omnibus as soon as I got done reading the first 11 issues.
That's awesome.
Now, with that being said, Amanda, me and you've had this conversation before, right? Like we always talk about how superhero books are samey, right? Like they're very samey, no matter how different they claim to be. All superhero comics are kind of samey, and because it's a genre, it's a trope, and that's just gonna happen, right?
Well, and it's also an efficiency of storytelling. Like if you make things, if you rely on a template or a pattern, it can make your storytelling faster.
Right. So with that, right, these like every time we read these independent books, as much as I like them, they all feel kind of the same. Like I feel like I've read this, as much as I like it, as much as I bought the second volume, I feel like I've read this before.
Like they're all trying to be not superhero books in a similar way.
Yeah, like it's all like magical realism. You know what I'm saying? It usually stars a woman. Magical realism, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like the divine and the mundane. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like they all read Sandman.
They all read Sandman, right? You know what I'm saying? But like you think of something like Monstrous or Promethea, which we split on. But like all these books feel kind of the same, man. Like what I'm saying? Yeah, like clearly like Sandman, those type of Vertigo books are a huge influence, right? And like as much as I love this book, I can't help but feel the sameness in these stories. Or even Hexwives, like we liked Hexwives,
yeah.
But and that also feels similar to this. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of ways.
I was gonna say, in addition to, I think I understand what you're saying about the sameness of the stories, that they sort of it's not so much that they're like really indie or really original. It's that they're just the comic book story you tell that doesn't have superheroes.
Yeah.
I was going to say that one of my other minor criticisms of this book was that like McKelvie's art is like too clean,
Mm.
and a lot of his faces end up looking really similar.
Yes.
And specifically, the main character here, Laura,
Mm-hmm.
looks exactly like the way that Jamie McKelvie draws America Chavez.
Wow.
And I was
I,
like, he's a really great artist, and he's really great at design. I mean, this is the artist who did the Captain Marvel costume redesign.
yeah, very good redesign.
And he's obviously, it feels like he's got like a fashion illustration background. But I was just like, everything is too symmetric and too clean and like it's too beautiful.
It kind of is. Like
It's almost like a video game cutscene version of a comic book.
it's almost 3D
Yeah.
without actual 3D.
It's amazing. It's amazing in a way that like the difference between it being great art and amazing art is lost on me, because if it's good enough to tell this story, I don't know, I guess it's just I'm not giving the book extra points just because the clothing is drawn beautifully in every single panel. Like
And you like stuff like that.
Yeah, and I do, but I'm like, it's like too, I don't know, there's something about it. So remember how we were saying that like Alex Ross's art is undeniably amazing,
Right.
but maybe like not always the best for
Layouts.
telling like a sequential story or the layouts. It's the same thing here. This is some of the most beautiful artwork, especially with the colors. But it's just like there's something about it where I'm like, oh, it's like I'm almost afraid, like if I was holding a physical copy of the book, I would be like afraid to wrinkle the pages, and I like wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, by the way, we should say we both read this on our tablets, and it was good. it's I had to turn down the brightness a bit, just a bit, like ooh, this is Like it was one of those things, and like you know how like if you look at like if someone ever took a picture of you looking at a screen, right?
Yeah.
It's always like the same white or blue light like shining on your face. I wonder what colors would shine on your face if someone took a picture of you as you was reading this. You know what I'm saying? Like would it just be like purple and like purples and like pinks and reds all.
You get that nice bisexual lighting.
That nice bisexual lighting. Is that a thing?
It is a thing. The like pinkish, purplyish, bluish lighting that's sort of like the bisexual flag colors. It shows up. It's shown up in like movies and TV shows recently, and it's just kind of a joke that it's a little bit of like a joke, but maybe it's funny because it's true. But like think about like John Wick.
Right.
Like that movie has a lot of like that coloring in it, and people are like, John Wick just seems to have sort of like frustrated bisexual energy. Let's go with it.
Okay, sure.
It's absolutely a thing. You can Google search it and you'll see.
You're wrong. I'm just shocked. Wow. Okay. So yes, bisexual lighting. Bisexual lighting is what this book had, which is interesting since everybody in this goddamn book is bisexual.
Yep.
Every fucking body, every single person. But so yeah, I kind of agree with you. You know what? You know what might help? You know what might help the art a little bit? If he threw like some J.H. Williams, like trippy, like
some abstraction.
Huh?
If he made it a little more abstract.
Yeah, if he made it a little more abstract. I mean, and again, this is a minor nitpick. This is
we're like teachers looking for like 1 point to take off the test so that the kid doesn't get a perfect grade for the whole year because we're assholes or something. This is like insanely nitpicky.
Yes, it is because like his sequential art is good. Everything he does is good. But like you said, maybe again, it's that weird thing of look. This book didn't win any Eisners. I am fucking shocked. I am shocked. This book is designed to win. This is an Oscar bait book.
It
This is
is. And this is like a textbook comic book. Like this is like, 20, 30 years from now, this would be like on the syllabus for how comic books should be made.
right.
And it's very much a product of like Image had a little bit of like a renaissance around the time when this book came out. Just it was like every book that Image was putting out was like really amazing and really stellar and like really highly anticipated. So yeah, I mean, I see this also as sort of like an important book in like the comic book culture of the last 10 years too.
Mm. So, let's talk about some of the characters. What do you think of Laura? I mean, I know you say you don't care, but let's pretend like you do a little bit. What do you think of Laura as a main character?
Um, so I didn't get that much of a sense for like what sort of a person she was.
Right.
She's mostly available for like to carry like the reader's point of view. Um, so I actually found I didn't really understand like I didn't understand like what she was doing at these concerts or like what her life was like outside them or why.
Why is she rebelling for absolutely no reason? Like what?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, like I can imagine motivations, but um,
Um,
I didn't necessarily. I didn't really feel like connected to her at all, which is probably one of the reasons why I didn't feel like I really cared.
so Amanda, me and you've talked about this before. How while me and you come from different backgrounds, we are oddly similar in our like demeanor.
Hmm.
And I wonder sometimes if we've run into this problem with comments before, where like when the people just do dumb shit to do dumb shit, we don't understand
Yeah.
because we kind of goody two shoes. Is that a fair assessment? Is that like a fair assessment of us? You think?
You know what? I would say that we are both a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
And like there is a thing of rebelling for rebelling's sakes, but I never hung out with those people. Those people always, and it seems like it to me because not everybody is white. They make sure not everybody is white, right?
Hmm.
But it does come off a bit of like privilege rage. You know what I'm saying? Like she has really nice parents. She goes to a really like she goes to college and she's really smart, but somehow she's not happy with anything and she just want to do bad shit. You know what I'm saying? She just wants to be a rebel,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's like I said, I get it kinda, you know what I'm saying? And like, nobody wanna be called a goody two shoes. So I get that, but like I've never understood the extremes people would go
Yeah. Yeah, like
for.
I feel like rebelling for rebellion's sake, you do like you don't do like life altering things, but maybe people do. I don't I think and I think that maybe the writer Gillen left it intentionally ambiguous so that people who do relate to that could use their own background to inform the character.
Right, right.
So, I mean, so it's just, if you don't have anything available to fill in as motivation for, you know, not letting your parents know you were going to the concert that they probably would have driven you to anyways, like, I'm sorry, I can't even get over, um, yeah.
My parents don't understand. That's why I'm in this underground railroad right now to watch this person because they just don't understand when.
Yeah.
Look, I liked her. I'm
Yeah,
playing
that's
it
the
up a
thing is
bit.
that I liked her. I was just like, I don't know if I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something. And I'm like, honestly, maybe if I did keep reading, I would come to understand what she was rebelling against.
Right, right. Because as of right now, how it ends, we don't know. We're not even sure why she's helping them.
Right.
And we kind of get an answer at the end, kind of, but maybe not really.
Yeah.
But like it's just it's so okay. Can we talk for a second?
Yeah,
Can we have some real talk here?
we can talk real.
All right. So does this book check all the diversity boxes?
I think it does.
Again, we love this book. I love this book. Amanda thought it was okay. So like overall, we like the book.
Oh, no, no,
But
no. I love the book. I just don't care to keep reading it.
wow, okay,
No,
I already
it's
know how that
really,
works.
yeah,
I
it's really weird. I can't deny like everything. Honestly, this is a slight tangent, but it's sort of like me and Quentin Tarantino movies where it's like they check every single one of my boxes, and yet for some reason, maybe I'm just secretly jealous that I didn't make the movie or the comic book myself. But despite being almost perfectly engineered for my enjoyment, I still don't want them.
oh wow.
It's like my own personal irrational rebellion against the universe.
Well, this Quentin Tarantino thing we're gonna have to talk about because I just see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a couple of days ago,
Okay.
and it's amazing.
I bet it
Fucking,
is.
but you hate it. I get it,
I didn't
Amanda.
see it yet.
Hey, fuck Quentin Tarantino. No. Back to the book. It checked all the diversity boxes, and like I always tell you this, like we want diversity, right? But like it seems like, and like I don't want to accuse nobody of this, right? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be that person. But like she's black, but her parents are look. She's clearly black, but her parents are interracial couple, right? There's trans people. There's non-binary people. There's
There's pansexual people.
there's
There's
pansexual.
a robot god with a harem. There's I
Yeah,
mean,
Daft Punk. Yeah,
yep.
Daft. He's just one of the Daft Punk guys with a harem. There's a lot going on here as far as diversity. Like some people are black, some people are white, some people are Indian. There's even a couple of Asians thrown in here, and it's just like it feels very purposeful. And I'm still at this stage where I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Cause I'm thinking, even as a black person, I don't know. I think like that when I go see stuff, and maybe that's a problem with me that I don't, not necessarily I don't want it, but it's not nothing I'm just like gotta have a clamoring for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even as a person that wants more representations and stuff, I don't know if I want my representation genetically engineered for me to be approving, right?
Hmm.
Does that make any sense?
I think so. Do you think it's maybe that because I mean, this feels conscious on the part of the
Yeah.
creative team to say, hey, like, let's make sure that it's a diverse community in the book. And maybe it's the fact that it's definitely conscious. It makes you feel like it's a little insincere.
Yeah, a little bit, and I know it's probably not. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's 2020. That's a weird thing to say. Everybody trying to navigate this. I just really hope this shit normals out after a while. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Yeah.
Again, I don't need everything to be the scene from. I don't need the woman scene from Endgame and everything I watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's talk about Lucifer.
Yes.
I love Lucifer.
Yes.
You know what my favorite thing about Lucifer is, Amanda?
That they look like David Bowie.
She looks like David Bowie, and her real name is Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby is my favorite Beatles song.
Ah.
It's also Bill Clinton's favorite Beatles song too, which is like an interesting fact that I know. But yes, that's a big old that's literally a big old Beatles reference in the middle of this book I was not expecting.
So the other book that Gillen and McKelvie did together, Phonogram,
Right.
I understand is like very, very steeped in musical references, and is the
Mm.
sort of thing where you're supposed to like go get their playlist for while you're reading it.
Oh,
You might really
oh,
appreciate that. My impression was that I was not into music enough to like be able to get into that, but maybe we can read it together eventually.
oh, and do the playlist at the same time. Oh, you know what? That's God damn it, Amanda. I'm writing that down. That's
Okay.
hold on, hold on, audience. Let me write that down. Uh, write down.
But
I'm gonna
my
type it in notes on
yeah,
my
but
phone.
but my understanding is that I mean, and technically all of these gods are also musicians, so this is a book that's also about music. And I think it's very clever to do a story about music as a comic book because when you're describing the comic book, you can just say like, "Oh, it was like the best music ever."
Right,
And you
without
don't have
actual.
to you don't have to worry about imposing your own musical taste on the audience. Like I remember there's a few. I'm sorry, the only example I can think of right now is the Queen of the Damned, where like Lestat is supposed to be like a
Ah,
musician and it's supposed to
yes,
be like the greatest rock music ever, and it's just like he's like a Korn cover band essentially, and I'm
yes,
like,
yes. Now,
yeah,
for the crowd, for the audience that doesn't know, Queen of the Dam is the sequel to Interview with the Vampire. Only without all the goodness of talent. But but they had this concept of like since he's supposed to be a rock star, is in they brought in a rock star to do all the music, which was the lead singer of Korn, Jonathan Davis, and he was going to do the vocals. But because of contract negotiations, he couldn't do it. So he could just write it. So he just brought in a bunch of famous people to sing all the songs.
yeah, and it So here's the thing, I've actually read that novel. And in the novel, it's fine because you're just like, okay, you imagine he's playing like divine vampire rock and roll, whatever that is. But in the movie, when you're confronted with the reality of just whatever, you can't like get past it. And using your imagination, so like in this comic book, using your imagination to decide what kind of music these gods are making, it allows you to not have that friction between the musical tastes of like the people making the book and the people reading it.
I think the problem with Queen of the Damned, just to go back to they put somebody way too contemporary.
Yeah,
They should have got like I don't know. They should have got
Iron Maiden.
I just got no. Like maybe a Bowie. I don't know if Bowie would have did it, but like look. If he's supposed to be a vampire rock guy, the only person that comes to my mind that fit like that type of category is like a Bowie
mm.
or like a Freddie Mercury, like somebody
Mm-hmm.
a little more ethereal. But
Yeah.
fucking Korn, the guy that says that makes like weird noises with his mouth and call it beatbox. That's what you thought the vampire rock god sounds like.
Yeah.
Mind you, I love Korn. I love Korn like first four albums, but I'm just saying, like in hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best of ideas. Anyway,
Also that movie is worth watching, but only for every scene with Aaliyah wearing like a really badass costume and just like killing people.
let me ask you something. God damn it, man, you got me on this tangent. I've never read any of Anne Rice books.
Hmm.
Interview with the Vampire, the movie is excellent.
Yeah.
Queen of the Dam is really bad. Is the Queen of the Dam book as bad as that movie? I
Yeah,
hope.
the book was simultaneously like like the book was like not racy enough or like gay enough. It was just like it was a lot of like, and then they gazed lovingly at each other and I'm like, and it's like it was simultaneously too much and not enough.
Because that's one thing about Interview with the Vampire. They never said they was fucking, but you could
They
clearly tell
were,
they
they
was.
were, and I was
Yeah,
like, it would be much better if they just like.
you know what? That's my favorite vampire movie. I love vampire movies. That is by far my favorite vampire
Hmm.
movie.
This is not as far of a tangent as it might seem either, because this whole idea of like divine rock stars and their like excessive lifestyles is exactly what this comic book is.
Right, right,
This
and
is
like
this is totally what the Vampire Lestat should have been.
yeah, within the context of that movie, like you said, I never read the book. Maybe I, you make me want to read it now. You really do make me want to
It's
read the
not that
damn
good.
book,
You don't have to.
huh?
Save yourself. It's not that good.
Okay, okay, then I won't. So, yeah, so like, what do you think of the conceit of the every like they that every 90 years they come back and they only have 2 years to live
Um,
as a conceit?
I really like that idea. I think that's an interesting framework to play in because 90 years is just about long enough that people won't necessarily believe what's going on because
Right,
the people who were there last time are very unlikely to still be around in significant numbers.
gotcha.
So you've got a really nice ambiguity of like, are people going to believe it? Are people going to understand it? Are people like, will there still be proof from the last time this happened? Um, so there's like that time interval is really interesting. And then the idea that you get to have like fame and fortune and superpowers, but like only for 2 years is also a very, very interesting idea to play around with. And then they layer on top of that this idea of like they called it the Prometheus
The Prometheus deal,
the
right? Or
Prometheus
some
deal or bet or something where going back to the Prometheus myth of like if you kill or steal fire from the gods, then you gain some of their power.
right.
Um, so the gods are also at risk of people trying to kill them to become gods themselves.
Mm.
I think it's a really compelling setup. I
And I
also
think
think it's really interesting that the gods choose to become musicians.
is always like I'm a frustrated like wannabe filmmaker,
Hmm.
but like it's always but what always make me angry is that musicians actually got like the real clout, and that's why, right? You know what I'm saying? Movies move people, but not like music does, and that's
Hmm.
probably why.
Yeah.
Like if you need to get in front of if you need to get in front of like millions of people, you do it with music. So it makes sense, right? If somehow they feed off the adulations of the crowd,
Right.
it makes sense that they would be musicians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what else to talk about since we're not going beat by beat. Are there any other guys that you like besides Lucifer?
Well, okay, I liked Lucifer. I also was a little bit this version of Lucifer felt really similar to the Neil
Tilda
Gaiman
Swinton.
Lucifer.
Oh, okay.
Also, yes, I would cast Tilda Swinton as this character.
Because Tilda Swinton plays what was that Michael in the Constantine movie?
It was either Michael or Gabriel, but yeah.
Gabriel, yeah, it might have been Gabriel, but yeah, and it reminded me of it. Like I got like vibes of that a little bit.
Yeah. I did like our goth gods who live like down in the sewers.
Because of course they do.
Yes. I also really liked I liked the idea that there was like that the like Daft Punk god who was someone from Norse mythology. I don't remember who they said. Um, but like he doesn't actually like really make music himself. He like makes Valkyries and then they become popular. So he's sort of like the producer.
He's the Phil Spector of of guys. Yeah, that was really cool. I thought it was really cool what he did to that one chick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is he because he can give women or I guess presumably anybody, but he chooses to give women um
Asian women.
yes, tall Asian women because he's got an aesthetic he's working in, whatever. Um he had one of them like essentially like leave him and try to embarrass him and he just tricks her into taking everything back that she said and agreeing to come back to him, and then he just like blows her up.
No, he blows up the suit. I think she still alive. It just he promised her the suit. And he was like, nah, and he just like, you know what? She had that coming.
Yeah.
She definitely had that coming. I know it's supposed to seem like the guys are cruel, but nah, old girl had that coming. I like Ball. Is that how you say it? The black guy, Ball is.
Yeah, it might be. It might be like because it's two A's next to each other. It might be like a Baal,
Yeah, okay.
like it might be like a weird two-syllable A.
You know what? We're really showing like our cultural ignorance right now by not knowing the name of these guys and how to pronounce them.
I mean, but I mean, they're choosing gods, with the exception of maybe like Lucifer, who are all from sort of like they're not from really, really well-known pantheons.
And if the pantheon is well known, we only know like the Norse one, right? The only gods we know in Norse are Loki,
Yeah.
Thor, and Odin, and maybe Bard. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it, right? We don't know who this guy is.
Well, and what's interesting is that some of the gods, specifically like the Morrigan, have multiple. They're also like representing multiple aspects at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. So, like the Morrigan is also I think she was Babbed, and also Annie. So she was like multiple different death goddesses at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So in addition to like them being gods that we're not that familiar with, they're also not even like maybe specific gods from specific pantheons, but just like the idea of like a crow themed death goddess happened multiple times, and she's maybe all of them. They're more of like an abstraction of a god, like they're more like the idea of that god, not like a specific. So I mean, I guess this is an interesting question. Do you think that they remember what happened 90 years ago?
Apparently they do. I don't know if they make references to, but when Lucifer died, they do say, "I would be sad, but I just see her again soon." So that make it seems like maybe they do, or at least some aspect of them remember.
Right.
Right.
It seemed to me like it might not literally be like one consciousness, one thread of consciousness that goes through like every life.
Because another conceit is like they technically still the person they were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like they still have those memories. I like it.
Yeah.
But I want to see where it goes. Like that's why I bought the second volume. So let's talk about the ending of this, right?
Yeah.
It commits our carton of sin, right, Amanda? Like it ends on the cliffhanger.
That's fine. Their books are allowed to do that. It just works too well on us.
Yeah, it's just like cause like I was what do you think of that ending of Laura finally becoming a god and immediately being taken out?
I mean, I feel like we were kind of expecting her to be one of the gods. Just that's how stories work. I was expecting her to either be one of the gods or for her to discover that like there's some other important role in this mythology.
Well, I figured she would be so I had two theories, right?
Okay.
Either she was going to be a god, especially after Cassandra, who I want to talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
Especially after Cassandra became one. I'm like, if Cassandra won, that means Laura has to be like a god too. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one in the hell they're gonna give it to like the annoying chick and not give it to Laura. Another thing too is I thought maybe she might have been somehow there to replace the old lady's name. What's her name?
Anake.
Anake, yeah, the one who watches after the gods.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she might have been a replacement for her.
Yeah, that's kind of more what I was thinking, was that she was going to like be pining after becoming a god and then sort of tragically be given a role where she shepherds them or helps them but can't ever be one.
Right.
I was not expecting her to become one of the gods and then get like killed off immediately.
And her parents. That I do feel like when I do read the rest of this, that all this shit would be taken back. Doesn't it feel like all this is going to be reversed?
Um, a little bit, yeah. I mean, I feel like they respect the readers enough to not bring her back on like page 1 of volume 3.
Uh huh.
But I do feel like it's not over
Right.
for
Well,
Laura.
it can't be because I think it's like what 50 something issues, so
Yeah,
clearly it's not over.
yeah.
So, and I know I've looked at other covers. She's
Well,
on other covers.
and really, here's how I know for sure it's not over. Uh, who's Tara? Right? Like they keep talking about one of the gods, and every time they mention her, they always call her fucking Tara. Right?
Yeah, they do. I don't know.
We haven't met her yet. There is absolutely no way that like this could be a 50 issue long series and they have a character that they refer to like that, and she never shows up.
Well, no. There is one thing I was confused about is, and I don't. It's like I missed a page
Yeah.
or something. Is like when Lucifer dies, they killed, which clearly Anaki did. Like Anaki killed Lucifer, right?
Yeah.
They kept talking about, oh, we need to find Lucifer's murder. And I'm just reading like, is she like, what the fuck? We know who killed her. What the hell are you talking about? They couldn't finally talk about the two dudes that was shooting her, that was shooting at her through the window, right? Like, did I miss something?
Um,
Cause they kept talking about finding her murderer or who killed her or who.
they were no, they were trying to figure out who was trying to kill her.
Okay, so I missed something. Like, and
Because
it wasn't.
there were the people, there were the snipers who came to try and kill Lucifer and jeez, I don't remember the first goddess's name anymore. Too many gods.
Too many gods?
There didn't there
Too
didn't
many gods.
there didn't need to be this many. But the snipers showed up to try and kill them, and then Lucifer retaliated.
Right,
And
right.
then at her trial, she tried to make a show of saying like, "This is stupid. I can't snap my fingers and just kill someone." And then at that point, the mystery is whether she actually killed the judge or whether she was framed or something like that.
Right. Then I got it. Just it was weird, and I didn't realize what they were saying until they went back to the festival with Cassandra was finally a god. What do you think of Cassandra? Like I guess we'll end on that. What do you think of that character? That character is interesting.
Um, so it's interesting. I think what's interesting about her is that we only know her from her interactions with Laura and the other gods, in which case she's seen as at the same time a nuisance and a resource.
Right.
She, I guess, apparently has background in the subject material, so she's the journalist that's been assigned to cover this stuff, but it seems she's sort of resentful. Like as though she would rather actually be doing academic research on religions instead of having to go to parties to chase down people who claim to be gods in present day.
And who give you like instant orgasms by whispering in your ear or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's a hell of a power, by the way. That's a power.
Yeah.
That's As a power. She was putting people on their ass in the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I like that character. I didn't realize she was trans until somebody said it.
And it's just like a throwaway thing too. It's not even part of the story.
And like, but yeah, like it's a throwaway line, and they move right past it. Right, there's no
Right. And one of the things that I love actually is that Cassandra and her assistants become a 3-aspect goddess.
Yeah.
And normally that's like I mean, we mentioned this in our Sandman read through, is that like anytime you've got a loosely fantasy or religion illusion, anytime you have a book that has fantasy or religious illusions and you have 3 women standing next to each other, you're in trouble, right? Like those are the fates, those are the young woman, the widow and the crone, like that is bad times. And what I love is that this very like classic symbol of like women being wicked and dangerous and the fate of the universe, that she is trans and it doesn't matter.
And when she becomes a god, she becomes full woman.
Yeah. Like it's just like, that's of course. And it's not even an issue. It's just, yeah.
Yes. So Amanda, I think that wraps this up. Would you recommend this book?
Yes. Even when I reviewed it the first time for the Outhouse, I came out and I was like, look, this is a great book. I can see why everyone's excited about it. It's really beautifully well made. I'm just not going to keep reading it. But even then, I was encouraging everyone to read it. It's really something else.
Yeah. I also recommend it. I think you should go right out and read this. It really does feel like something special. I mean, we complained, but it's honestly just us trying to find something to talk about, because it's a really boring show. We kept saying, "Oh God, it's so perfect."
And it really is. Again, to go back to one of the first things we said, all 4 creators have their names on the cover: the writer, the artist, the colorer, and the letterer, and they really all work together on this. And like you can tell, it makes a difference.
Right. So, Amanda, what are we reading next time?
Okay, so I had kind of an interesting idea for next time. So we are going to take a look at Prophet. So as in like predicting the future Prophet. I really loved reading the Brendan Graham reboot from about 10 years ago, and I had never read the original Rob Liefeld 90s Image Prophet book. So what I was hoping was, I see that you can get, it looks like 1 through 7 on Comixology from the 1990s Prophet run. And then we could look at volume 1 of the reboot by Brendan Graham and Simon Roy.
Which sounds interesting.
It's
half of that sounds interesting, Amanda.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see which half you think is interesting. But no, seriously, I expect the first half of this to be absolute 90s schlock. I mean, it is a Rob Liefeld book. We've never done that.
No, we haven't. There's a reason for that, but yes. Okay, yes.
Well, and I'm really excited to find out why. And then the second half is like bizarre, far future science fiction, which I guess I'm interested to see how much of it was actually inspired by the original run. Right. Because because we did really love the reboot without knowing anything about the original.
Right, you and your husband, right?
Yes, I picked up the first volume of it and I thought it was good. My husband thought it was amazing and encouraged us to keep reading it. And as it kept going, I was just like more and more amazed by what I was reading.
So I have your husband to blame for this also. Gotcha.
Yep. Yes, absolutely.
So Amanda, if they want to talk to us about ethereal guys being rock stars, where can they reach us?
We are on Twitter as Comic Book Club 52. You can email us comicbookclub52@gmail.com, and we are the Comic Book Club on Facebook.
All right, now with that, we will see you in a couple of weeks as we read the Prophet from the 90s and the reboot.
Just one volume of each. It'll be
one volume each. Yep. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm Jamil Payne.
Unfortunately, I'm Amanda.
And we are out.